Hey, what's up guys, how's it going? So the Super Nintendo, now this is quickly becoming one of my favorite consoles to play. Although, one thing that I noticed is that the American Super Nintendo looks completely different compared to Japan and the UK Super Nintendo. I was wondering, why is that? Because it looked like that version was designed a little bit better. It had curves, smooth designs. It kind of looked like a sports car a little bit. Plus, I can't be the only one who sees this, but the start button and the reset switch kind of look like the headlights of a Ferrari F40, but just saying. All of these small, nice little details when it comes to the Japan, UK Super Nintendo, but when it comes to the American Super Nintendo, it looks a little bit, boxier. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I think both designs have their positives and negatives, but why does the American Super Nintendo look completely different to the Japan and UK Super Nintendo? Or Super Famicom, I should say, since that's what it was called over there. But I guess Famicom kind of means something, since Famicom means family computer. I mean, obviously, but still, let's break this down. And for that, we're gonna have to go back to the late 1980s when the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. Now, I think everybody knows this by now, but the reason why the NES looks the way it does is because, well, they didn't want to really call it a game system because, of course, the video game crash of 1983, and they wanted to make the NES look like a VCR of some sort, so it doesn't, look like a game system like the Atari 2600 did. That's why the NES is kind of designed the way it is. But of course, when the NES came out and changed the face of gaming and blah blah blah, became popular, whatever. But when the Super Nintendo came out, they kind of had to do something different. Now, there's some weird beta designs for the Super Nintendo. They wanted to make it similar to the later models of the NES. But obviously that didn't really fall through. The designer of the SNES was this guy named Lance Barr, and he didn't really want to stick with the design of the Super Famicom. That he wanted it to look, boxy and edgy, because technology around that time had a certain aesthetic, you could say. Things looked kind of boxy and edgy. Technology from around that time just had a different design technique. In America, I should say. But yeah, he just kind of wanted to make the Super Nintendo kind of fit within that aesthetic or design. That's why it looks the way it does. Now, a lot of people don't really like the design of the American Super Nintendo, but me personally, I like it. I feel like it has its charms. Sure, the majority of the console is gray, but it has those hints of purple that kind of, make it pop. Although, speaking of purple, I feel like Nintendo kind of does purple a lot. I mean, they've done it with the N64, the GameCube, the Game Boy, this and that. I don't know, man. I feel like everything kind of looks good with purple, but either way, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to talk about the Super Nintendo for a little bit. Now, if you want to, like and subscribe, no rush. And tell me down below, what do you prefer? The American Super Nintendo or the UK and Japanese variants? Tell me down in the comments. Now, see you guys later. Peace.